Good morning. The birds were singing right here, and I thought I'd just stop and give my good morning greeting. I have about 12 miles to go today, so it's a nice short day, relatively speaking. There are actually two routes that go parallel to one another. One is right along the water, and the other is a little more inland. You can see the water from here, but it's a little more inland. And so I thought I'd take the inland one just because we've seen water before. And I think that this is the official coastal trail, and there are a lot of markers and a bit more infrastructure. So not that we'll need it for 12 miles, but I thought we'd check it out. One thing I really like is that they put the names of the residents very often on the houses. And it's like it's the family home. And so that's kind of a unique thing. So we'll chat during the day. I hope your day's starting off well. I just realized that it's Sunday, and I remember last Sunday how quiet it was, and it's very quiet this Sunday as well. I was fortunate last night on my way to my restaurant. There was a store open, and so I got a banana and a couple of things like that, so that today, when no stores are open, I'll have a little snack in the afternoon. So I ran into a couple of guys that were fun to talk to. Simon from Goa, India, and Dave from Belfast. They're part of a walking club, and there are 7 of them that are here together. And so I gave them each a heart. And if you're wondering what this heart stuff is, you can take a look at my profile picture and you'll see them there. So, bon dia. So, I brought 100 with me, and the first batch of 50, they were all pink and red and white and maybe a few purple. And I thought I need to get some different colors in here. So the second batch has many more colors, aqua, brown, gray, those types of things. So I had thrown some of those additional colors into my waist bag today, and I decided I would just give one to each of these guys. Well, they were thrilled. It was like the highlight of their day, they said. There was always one special thing each day, and this was the special thing for that day. So it just made me feel really good, and like I am listening to my inner voice to do what seems appropriate at the time. So I thought I'd just kind of summarize a few things that I'm loving and not loving so much. Not loving so much steep hills, as you can imagine, but loving just the kind of the monotony of the flatland, and the reward when you get to the top of the steep hill to just pause and rest a little bit. I'm finding that hills are the great equalizer. Nobody has any more power than anybody else unless you're motorized to get up those hills. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much influence you have at work. You've got to get up the hill under your own steam. So that's kind of a fun realization, and it makes me think about equality in other aspects of life as well. One thing I'm not loving is drinking out of a plastic tube all day. That's not particularly appealing. And I'm finding that the pastries are not as appealing to me as I thought they would be. They're beautiful, and They are works of art, but for some reason I just am not pigging out on them like I thought I would. But what I am loving is the vegetable soup. It's excellent. I'm going to have to learn how to make it when I get home. I'm not loving getting out the door before 7 o'clock. I am loving being out the door by 7 o'clock. It's just the getting out the door. You know, I don't bound out of bed. You heard my routine on another video. I don't bound out of bed, but I am finding a discipline in myself that I didn't know existed. But when you have a very simplistic existence, walk, eat, sleep, repeat. That's it. And the only highlight is really the people you meet, finding a laundromat, you know, simple things like that. I think the discipline of the day helps to provide some routine that helps with happiness. One last thing that I'm not really loving is being buckled in. It's very restrictive, and in the afternoon starts to get really tight and cumbersome. So not really loving that, but I am loving just throwing on a skirt and a t-shirt, and nobody cares. Nobody's going to remember what you wear. It doesn't have to be fancy, just has to be functional, and that part is really nice. Such a variety of colors today. The ferns are dying, but some are still alive, and then you've got these purple flowers that are lining the side of the road. Let's see if I can, oh, there's a batch coming up right here. It's just a wonderful way to spend a Sunday morning. So isn't this the most delightful garden cafe? Our proprietor there and friends. You wouldn't stop at any other cafe if you knew that this was here. So I'm getting some nice brioche toast and fresh squeezed orange juice. So I'm at my destination. My hotel is just across the street and down a couple of buildings. And it was, I think, around 12 miles today. We'll see what it is at the end of the day. But a good day of mostly forests and towns. So that's a nice mix. Not any highway walking or anything until the very end when I had to just get here to my hotel. But the highlight for me was, of course, talking with some people on the road, and then just turning the corner, and there was that beautiful garden. I don't think they would call it a cafe. It was just a garden lunch spot, and there were a number of locals there. It was obviously the place to go for Sunday brunch. And so pilgrims abounded, but also some locals, a couple Mercedes parked out front, and people dressed up. And so that was just a nice treat in the middle of the day, a nice surprise in the middle of the day. So here are some pictures. I don't really have anything profound to share with you today, but here are some pictures that I took along the way, and I hope your day is just great.